The road to the 109th Grey Cup for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
The kick is up. The kick is good. Seth Small has done it. The Tiger Cats have won.
Can be heard daily here on the Ticats Audio Network. From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie Butko.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Wednesday, November the 2nd, 2022. Thanks for checking us out on the Ticats Audio Network. Louie Butko here with you from Tim Hortons Field as the Ticats were finally back at practice for day one ahead of Sunday's East semi-final clash with the Alouettes in Montreal. And, of course, full coverage of that game right here on the Ticats Audio Network leading right up to game day. Kickoff on game day and then right through the post game as well. So Ticats Audio Network, listen.ticats.ca is where you can find us, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts and shows. Appreciate you joining us on this show here today. We got a busy one for you as lots going on as the CFL Divisional All-Stars were named. So we'll run through, we'll highlight some of the Ticats that were named Divisional All-Stars. I might have a little bit of a rant on that, just a little tiny one. I might get to. I might hold my tongue and not get to it, but just warning you, just in case, if we have time for it, I might get into it. So we'll run through the Ticats that were named Divisional All-Stars. We'll highlight some of the ones who weren't, for whatever reason. Again, not starting the rant yet, just saying. Cam Kelly, not a Divisional All-Star? Come on, are you kidding me? What have you been watching? Okay, no, I'm not getting into a rant. It's nice to see the guys that were one from the 16 Toronto Argonauts, 16. Did the guys just look at the team's record and think that better record, better team? Okay, that's it. Okay, I'll try my best not to get into a rant. We will hear from Stephen Dunbar Jr. and Brandon Revenberg. In fact, I had a chance to catch up with them one-on-one after practice for some Ticats Today exclusives, so we'll play those conversations for you. We'll hear from Coach O as we normally do. We'll hear from Dane Evans, and we'll hear from Tim White as well. And later on in the show, Coach John Salavantis stopping by for some Salutations Wednesday variety as we catch up with him as we get set for Sunday's game. Now, I mentioned 7 Ticats were named East Divisional All-Stars. I don't get 16 Toronto Argonauts. Anyway, 7 were named Ticats, and let's celebrate these guys' accomplishments. Tim White, his second All-Star selection, East Division All-Star selection. He suited up in 17 games. He led the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, and his 94 receptions led the league, while his 1,265 receiving yards and 8 receiving touchdowns were good enough for 4th and 6th, respectively. Stephen Dunbar Jr. was also named an East Division All-Star. This was his first award, All-Star award. He finished second on the team in receiving yards with exactly 1,000. He had 72 catches. He had 6 touchdowns, and his 1,000 receiving yards put him 10th in the league. Brandon Revenberg was named an All-Star. Dylan Wynn was named an All-Star. Jovan Santos Knox, the league's leading tackler, was named an All-Star. Seontae Evans was named an All-Star, as was Tunde Adeleke. So congratulations to all the Tiger Cats who were named East Division All-Stars, and the league All-Stars will likely be announced next week. So congrats. Let's hear from some of them after we hear from Coach. Let's start with the head coach and president of football ops, Orlando Steinauer, who had a message about a different Hamilton team from this past weekend.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for Hamilton. Congratulations to the Forge. They're doing their thing, and we're looking to continue to do our thing. The opponent, of course, stating the obvious, the opponent definitely is going to be, different intensity and that sort of thing, but the game's always going to come down to execution and our preparation. And so that'll ramp up. It won't be extremely different from anything we've done all season, but the consequences are just greater now. That's it. We've played to win all year long. And we'll do the exact same thing. We'll expect to win and we'll play to win, whatever that means. You got to be flexible. You can't be lock-kneed. You got to be able to bend and move, and that'll unfold with the game within the game. But playoffs, everybody knows what it is. So yeah, we're nursing a couple of injuries. In all honesty, So from that standpoint, but relatively speaking, we'll look quite a bit different from last week, but not a crazy whole lot of different from 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we were able to rest a few players last week, so from that standpoint, we'll look considerably different. But as far as the nucleus of how it looked leading up to last week, maybe a couple wrinkles, but relatively the same. Well, you'll have to ask them individually. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm extremely happy for them, and I think everybody works hard, and when you talk about awards and individual awards in the ultimate team sport, it is always a little bit tough for me, but it's something that guys, I think at times look forward to, because they're always comparing themselves, their competitors and competition and that sort of thing. Albeit a vote, it's still nice to be recognized. I think they would all, to a man, trade that in for the ultimate prize.
That is the head coach and president of football ops of the Ticats, Orlando Steinauer, as we caught up with him after practice. And as always, full scrum is available at ticats.ca. We'll get some of the East Division All-Star award winners coming up later on in the show, including one-on-ones with Brandon Revenberg and Stephen Dunbar Jr. We'll hear from Tim White as well. Coach Sal still stopping by. But right now, let's hear from the quarterback of the Ticats, Dane Evans, and we asked him about his teammates who were recognized as Divisional All-Stars.
That's amazing. I just found out about it. It's fantastic. That's what this offense should be. I think all of our guys should be up there for it. You know what I mean? We do a lot of different things, and guys are asked to do a lot of different jobs. And specifically, those three guys put in a lot of work, and they definitely deserve to be recognized as they were. I think it's a little bit like I just said. Dude just works super hard. He had a huge physical transformation in between last year and this year, and he didn't lose any speed either, right? So that's pretty amazing there. So that shows you right there that he's a hard worker, not only up here but like in the off season. Then I think just his willingness to never limit himself. We've asked him to do some different things this year, whether that's blocking, whether that's running a speed sweep to pull someone else open, or make the play, which he's done a lot this year. And he's never once said anything but yes, sir, and like, let's get it done. So I think when you have a guy like that, especially a leader on this team, that helps everybody else just elevate their game too. I hope that they take away from it that, like, you don't have to be necessarily the guy that's saying everything or breaking down every team huddle. Leadership comes in many different forms and many different sizes, and Steve is the ultimate example of like a quiet leader. He's a lead by example type of guy, much like myself. And you know when it comes to Steve, like, he's not cheating the game, so the game is going to reward him huge. And just super proud of him, super thankful that he's with us, and very happy for all those guys. That it gets a little bit more intense, but also like you just gotta play. Like, you gotta do what got you there, right? You don't have to all of a sudden, like Tommy said in our team meeting, like, you don't have to go into the phone booth and change into Superman. You got to be you. You got to do what got you here. We got to do what got us here. We're on a good little roll right now, and we just got to keep it rolling. And we just got to let the playoffs be the playoffs. The only thing that's different is different patches on the jersey. Other than that, we're lining up and playing ball. So we're pretty excited about this game.
That is Dane Evans as we caught up with him after practice, talking about some of his all-star teammates. And let's get to some of them now. We had a chance to catch up with Tim White. We've caught up with Tim quite a bit the last few weeks. A lot to be honored. Well-deserved honors that he has picked up the last little bit, including the team's nominee for Most Outstanding Player. But he was named a CFL East Division All-Star. I would be shocked if he's not named a League All-Star next week. But we talked to him about what it meant to him to be recognized as an East Division All-Star.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. It's definitely an accomplishment, you know. Definitely proud of all the other guys on the squad that made it too. So definitely an accomplishment. Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing him get up there, seeing him accomplish that 1,000-yard mark, it's big steps, and we have a lot more to prove. Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen what he did last year, although, it's a new year, history sometimes can repeat itself, and it's one of those moments where it's going to have to show up again. So I think he's ready for the moment, and I think he's looking forward to it. Yeah, no, you definitely need that. That's a thing that a lot of guys that catch on to. They see it, every single day, and obviously they feel like, dang, I got to challenge myself more. I see this guy coming in and challenging himself, So I got to come out there and challenge myself. So it's one of those things that you need somebody that can set that example of how to approach the game every day like a pro. And, that's what he's been doing since day one. So definitely influential. I could say so. I still feel like I have a lot more ways to go, a lot more respect to earn. I think these are some of the bigger events that you want to show that on these stages. So, I'm just looking forward to the challenge, really.
And that is Tim White as we caught up with him after practice. Today's show, we're going to be focusing on the offensive Divisional All-Stars. In case you're wondering why I'm not talking to the other guys, just letting you know, it's busy down here, you can imagine, with playoffs. So we're talking to the offensive All-Stars today, and we'll catch up with the defensive All-Stars coming up on tomorrow's show, because we do have so much to get to. But I did have a chance to go one-on-one with Brandon Revenberg and Stephen Dunbar Jr. I'm going to play those for you back to back. I did promise you a rant. I'm not going to get into one, but if you listen to the show, that I've said that I do not have a vote for the CFL All-Stars, the CFL Awards, the Divisional All-Stars, the Team Awards, which is there's reasons for that, and maybe you can put two and two together for them, but I don't have a vote, and I've said that. I've made that very clear. That's fine. I've been explained to me why I don't have a vote. What bothers me is that people who are voting on these awards are not here. They may watch the games, and I certainly hope they do watch the games, but they're not here. They're not here at practice every day. They don't get to talk to the guys. They don't get to see how the guys work, which is fine. I get that. You might not be able to get here for every single game, but you would think you'd maybe just check in on the opinion of someone who is here every day. Maybe just run it by and just say, hey, what do you think of this guy? Because this is guys' livelihood is sometimes determined by bonuses that are tied into being named Divisional All-Stars. So maybe I'm sounding like a homer to 16 Toronto Argonauts. Well, yeah, they finished at 10-8. So 2 games better than the Ticats. Is that really a reason to give 16 All-Stars? I don't know. Maybe, the offensive line, maybe if, you would assume if David Beard was here all year, if Colin Kelly should probably have been an All-Star as well, at least a Divisional All-Star. Micah Johnson, I don't know how you watch the tape and don't say that Micah Johnson. Cam Kelly, anyone in the secondary, Richard Leonard maybe is, I don't know. Anyway, we had a chance to catch up. Let's celebrate the guys who were named All-Stars. Let's do that. Here is back-to-back. Here is Brandon Revenberg and Stephen Dunbar Jr. as I caught up with them after practice today, one-on-one.
It's kind of the same thing. It's always an honor to get nominated for this award. At the end of the day, I'm playing with a great group of guys. We've been really going off the last third of the season, and like I said, I couldn't be prouder of the guys and kind of how we've been playing. So being a part of that and then being recognized for it,
it's a tough role for Coach Gibson to be in, with bodies coming in, bodies coming out, guys moving over. What has he done to solidify this group week in and week out?
Coach Gibb, he's day in, day out. That guy's a grinder. He's going to put in all the extra time and make sure that we're going to be in the right looks, right? And obviously, we come in a little bit earlier, make sure that we have some time with him to go over everything. And he's always trying to put us in the best position to succeed.
CV said, when you look at him, his influence on this team, even without the reps out there, what is that, and how does he make you guys better?
Yeah, when you have a guy that's had that kind of experience, that's been in the league for as long as he has, he has so much information and knowledge that he passes along to us, right? And usually if there's any questions where someone might not know something, they go straight to him. And he's been a huge impact on the O-line, great for the culture, and we love having him. And
Tyrone, a guy who put in his time in the waiting room, was waiting for his moment, got in early. What have you seen from him in that spot, and how has he evolved in his reps?
Yeah, the best thing I can say about it is that he's making the most of his opportunity. Like you said, he was in the waiting room. He's getting ready. He was in here all the time lifting. He's studying the film. And then when his number got called, he made the most of it. And even now he's still just getting after it. And you gotta love to see that.
Does the battle in the trenches ramp up a little bit in the postseason?
Yeah, at the end of the day, when you're in the playoffs, it just becomes more and more physical. Yeah. Right? And that's what we're expecting.
It means a lot, man. A lot of hard work, a lot of adversity that we kind of saw through. I'm grateful for my teammates, for my coaches, for everybody who played a part in my development as a player throughout my whole career. since I was a young kid to now. So it's just it's cool to be recognized every now and then, but I appreciate it. Yeah.
And to share it with a guy like Tim, I mean, you guys have kind of been here since day one, I want to say, since you guys, to get to do this together, to go through these highs and lows with a guy like Tim, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's dope, man. Me and Tim kind of came in together, man, kind of coming off a similar situation, having to kind of come in here and not really knowing what to expect and kind of trying to, find your way on the team. And we both got blessed with the opportunity to, be able to be on a team like this that allowed us the opportunity to come out here and play at the level that we've been playing at. So it's super dope to see the success that he's having. And it's definitely, challenged me, day in and day out to, come with my game plan and come with my A game to, make sure that I do my part to help him, So
How are you more ready for the playoffs this year, and how is the team more ready for the playoffs this year after everything you went through last year, this season? Why are you guys ready this year?
I think experience is a great teacher for everything. So, we've been here before. We came into the playoffs, kind of adverse situation last year and knowing what we got to do, going through the hard way, just taking it 1 week at a time. So it definitely, it's more of I know what to expect now as far as the speed of the game, the playoff kind of mentality that everybody comes with. And so it's definitely, more experience, helping me be more comfortable with it.
Dane, how is he? How does his leadership showcase itself the most in times like this?
I think Dane's been in these games before. Dane's played in these games, so it's like everybody knows he's able to step up and play well in these games. So I think we're confident in him, and I think he's confident in himself, and we're just gonna go out there and do our part to help him, and be complimentary to whatever he needs us to do so we can help him perform.
I remember earlier this season we talked about a guy like Keandre, and a word that came up was maturity. How have you seen him develop this year in his maturity on and off the field, and how do you feel like you've helped play a role in that?
Nah, he's definitely grown, man. You could tell in his demeanor and the way that he approaches the week in and week out. You could tell by his play on the field that he's come along. He's mature and he's grown up. And coach told him this week, this past week after the game that you're not a rookie no more, man. You've played a lot of games. Yeah. So, but I think our group as a whole has helped him grow up. We got a really good positions coach and Jason Phillips, and we got a solid tight knit group in the receiver room. So I think everybody feeds off everybody, and it kind of helps all of us get better.
And for more on Sunday's East semifinal, very pleased to be joined by Coach John Salavantis for some Wednesday salutations. And Coach Sal, I mean, there was a point at this season where I didn't think we'd be talking about the postseason. How did the Ticats get to this point?
Well, I think they got there by perseverance overall, because they were really down and out with a 3-9 record and had to bounce back. Now, in the second half of this season, they've put together a real good ball game time and time again. We saw that with Winnipeg. We saw that with Calgary. Now, they won the games against Ottawa where they had to win. They got the job done. So realistically, Louie, I think they're on an upswing and really got a good chance in Montreal.
How do you continue momentum but also acknowledge that these are must-win games? Coach has talked about it a lot this season. They haven't had those must-win games too often, but this is it. Win or go home. How do you change the mentality?
Well, I think in the first coaching meeting that they had, I would have them tell the players exactly what it's going to take to win. Now, everybody has an opinion, but the opinions are always boiled down to a few things. No turnovers. No penalties. Remember, Montreal's the worst penalized team in the CFL. Defensively, they've got 82 penalties alone on their defensive side. They've given up 1,574 yards in penalty yards. So no penalties on the Ticats side of the ball will pay some real dividends. And then thirdly, play physical. Win the line of scrimmage. Those are the things that you can win a football game and a playoff game with those three things: turnovers, no penalties, and win that line of scrimmage.
So let's talk about that battle at the line of scrimmage. How important were those games off for a guy like Colin, or that game off on Saturday for a guy like Colin Kelly and for a guy like Micah Johnson and Julian Househair? Where do you want to see those results of not playing in that game on Saturday pay off coming up on Sunday?
Well, I would think that they're rested now. Whatever small hurts they've gotten, every player on the team has got some kind of hurt. All their hurts are healed up. We're not talking injuries. We're just talking about banged up, little minor hurt type things. Now they're rested. Their mind is clear. They understand what they've got to do. And they're the pro facto leaders of this football team, Santos Knox included in that category. So now you've got your full complement of leaders back on the field, and they have got to really produce in this ball game. They've got to show the way to the younger guys.
Turnovers, no turnovers, no penalties, and physicality at the line of scrimmage. What else is it going to take to win this game in Montreal? Montreal's a tough place to play. Ticats aren't used to starting that first leg of the playoffs on the road. They've won on the road, but what else is it going to take on Sunday to come out victorious?
Well, if you break down what Montreal does best, and right now the real key is Eugene Lewis. But if you pay too much attention to Lewis, then Grant or Winicky or Mela, one of those guys is going to hurt you. So you want to take Lewis out. He's had good games against the Cats. The only one win the Cats had against Montreal, they held Eugene Lewis out of the end zone. So he's number one on the hit list. Number two on that list is you've got to worry about Stanback in the backfield. You cannot let him get going. Once he gets his shoulders north and south, he's a bull, and he's like a sack of hammers trying to tackle him. So don't let him get going. So you shut down the run, and you pay attention to Lewis, but not to the extent that you let up on those other people on the field.
I would have to think that this Ticats secondary, as it's assembled right now, Ciante Evans, Richard Leonard, Tunde Adeleke, Cariel Brooks. And this is the most experienced secondary, I think, in the league right now. This is where it's going to pay off. Not that it hasn't for the regular season, but this is where, like you said, that experience, that leadership needs to pay off, especially with a weapon like Eugene Lewis.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And include the linebackers in there, because they do an awful lot to help out in that secondary. Kelly, especially Cameron Kelly, has been a great strong side linebacker, if you will, able to play deep, able to play short, able to come up on the run. So, you include those guys. You've got a leadership group. You've got a good secondary. Now, where's the pass rush? Now you've got to rely on those guys up front. Micah Johnson, we mentioned. Hauser, we mentioned. Bennett is one of those guys that can really pay some dividends in this game. The other one that I was thinking of in that category, I've forgotten for the moment, was Carney.
Yeah.
And now, if you get pressure, because Harris is a pocket passer, right? We understand that he's a pocket passer. He's got 20 TDs. He's got 12 interceptions this season. He's playing very efficiently, only one interception in the last 5 games. So he has to be pressured if you're going to get him. If you go back to last East final last year, Harris was 28 of 44, 364 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, but 3 fumbles. So it goes back to that turnover. There's 4 turnovers. The Cats actually had 5 in that game, if I remember right. But those are the things you're going to have to do. Contain Harris. He's not going to run out of that pocket very often. He'll do a little play action once in a while. But if he gets the run game going, then play action really becomes part of his program, and he's able to really hurt the secondary by drawing the linebackers up on the fake run and then throwing the ball.
Now, you bring up Trevor Harris. I believe this will be at least the 4th straight time the Ticats will see Trevor Harris in the postseason. It doesn't matter whether he's in Ottawa or Edmonton or Montreal. It seems that Trevor Harris usually runs into the Ticats. Does that give Coach Orlando Steinauer any sort of advantage? Does that give Mark Washington any sort of advantage, having seen him in these games? Or because those are 3 different teams, 3 different offenses, there's really not much to read into?
Well, you can read into it about his body language. You watch what he's doing in the pocket. Is he comfortable in the pocket at the time that you're looking at him? And you plot every one of his throws. Where does he like to throw the ball? He's a right-handed quarterback. Does he favor the right side? Or has he got a good eye contact with the secondary where he can look the right side off and throw back to the left side? So those are kinds of things that you look at. Then you add in the idea that Anthony Calvillo is the play caller. And you think in terms of what Anthony likes to do. Now, Anthony and Harris together like to do certain things. So you package those things out and you show your defense on film and on tape. These are the things they like to do. Third down situation, or second down, situation, they like this. First down situation is wide open. Second down, they're very concerned about certain things. They want to go to Eugene Lewis. Do they keep him in the one hole? Or do they move him into the two hole? Do they move him into the three hole? Yeah. So those are things you can look at, Louie, and find out.
I think you thought you misspoke by saying third down there, but I don't think that's true, Coach, because the amount of times we've seen Eugene Lewis make a third down play against these Ticats, either late in the game or in overtime, I think is worth paying attention to, because that's also, I think, what it's going to come down to. And we've seen the Ticats do it a lot better lately, but play a 60-minute football game. They haven't done it all season, but they're going to have to do it at least 3 more times if they want to come out victorious.
I think you're absolutely right, Louie, and to point out the fact that they will go to Eugene Lewis in those tough situations. And he's a 50-50 ball guy that'll come up with a ball probably 80 to 90% of the time. So that's where you would have to pay strict attention to him. Get a good pass rush on Harris, not allow him to make that throw.
All right, let's talk about the Ticats quarterback and Dane Evans. Much different situation for him. He's the guy. It might be easy to forget that he didn't go into the playoffs last year as the guy. That was Jeremiah Masoli. He did go into the playoffs back in 2019, though, as the guy with Masoli. I mean, it really, you look at what he's done in the postseason. He wants to win this, I think, just more than anybody else on that football field. And all these guys really want to do well.
Well, when you mentioned Dane Evans, I think it's a harsh thing to say, but which Dane Evans is going to show up for this ball game? And the fact that Dane Evans in the Winnipeg ball game, Dane Evans in the Calgary ball game, excellent quarterbacking. At other times, he couldn't hold on to the football. At other times, he threw up bad interceptions, made bad decisions. Watch him and his body language early in the ball game. Is he comfortable setting back in the pocket? Is he stepping into his throws? Is he doing a good job of looking off the secondary? All of those things, if they're good, Dane Evans is going to be good for the game. But you have to wonder how long that leash will be on Dane Evans if he shows that he's not comfortable and he's not making good decisions.
But in true Ticats fashion, if things don't go well, that's why you have a guy like Matthew Schultz, isn't it?
I'd like Matthew Schultz. I think Matthew Schultz came in and won that last ball game against the Red Blacks with the way he handled himself in that very trying fourth quarter where Evans got hurt his thumb, I guess it was, in a slide. So Schultz came in and did a good job. Maybe they'll put a package together that shows Schultz's strengths and take Dane Evans out at certain times. But I'm not in favor of all that quarterback switching. Once you make the switch, I'm in favor of staying with whomever you go to.
And then let's just talk about the rest of the offense real quick. The running game, obviously, I think what Wes Hills and Sean Thomas Erlington have been doing as of late, really impressive, even with limited touches in that last game. They both averaged close to 8 yards per carry. And then the receivers, you're going to need Tim White to beat Tim White. And some of those Canadians are going to probably have to step up and have a big game, aren't they?
Yeah, it's got to be a full complement of players. And probably the most underappreciated player is Erlington. And Thomas Erlington has done what they asked him to do, and he's done it very well. But the real guy that has to play, and if it's Wes Hill or Don Jackson, I don't know which one they'll play, but if it's one of those backs, they have got to pound that line of scrimmage. They have to beat them into submission. Montreal likes to blitz. They like to bring heat on things. You take the heat away from those guys by running that ball in certain situations. So the running back and the running game will be very important for a playoff picture.
And just last thought here, we've talked offense, we've talked defense. Let's give some love to the special teams. What have you seen from that unit led by Craig Butler this year? First-year special teams coordinator. They lose a guy like Curtis Newton, the leader on that special teams, to a season-ending injury. A lot of rookies rotate through that spot. What have you seen from that unit on the football field, and where are they going to need to make a difference on Sunday?
Well, Worthy is the returner for Montreal, and he's an excellent returner. You've really got to corner him. So your two guys on the outside, the jet guys going down that field, have to keep him inside the middle of the field. Don't let him get to the boundary. Now, Butler's done a good job of coaching these guys and showing that you can't get inside that 5-yard halo. Don't give up a penalty, because that could kill you in a situation like this. The other part of it is that Small has done such a great job of field goal kicking, and Domagala has come on and done a good job in the punting category. So your defense is still your strength. If your offense can't move, then your special teams have to win their 1/3 of the ball game for you.
Yeah, all about flipping the football field. Coach, I always appreciate our chats just a little bit more when it's playoff time. I'm definitely more informed going into this game after this conversation. So thank you, my friend.
You're always welcome, and you are well informed, and you've done a great job all season. Let's hope that we go one more time.
At least one more time, Coach. Thanks for doing this.
All right, Louie.
My thanks to Coach Sal. My thanks to Stephen Dunbar Jr. My thanks to Brandon Revenberg. And my thanks to you as well, as we could not do the show without your support. So thank you. We are halfway through the week already, getting set for Sunday's game. We will be back here from practice. By the way, tomorrow's practice is closed. If you were thinking of coming, it is not open to the public. It is not open to media. It is a closed practice, so I will have to just guess on what my questions are going to be for the scrums tomorrow. But I will let you know I will be here doing this show for you, because that's what we do here for Ticats Today. Thanks so much. Like I said, back tomorrow, same time, same place, here on the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie Butko, hoping you have a great day.
Regina Grey Cup is weeks away. Get your daily update here. You're listening to the Ticats Audio Network.